Ever have a dream where it was so real, so lucid, that it changes your life forever? I have had multiple dreams where I swear they were from a higher source, trying to warn me about something soon to come. So I started having lucid dreams when I was about 15. I want to share with you some of my dreams that I've had, but I'm not going to go into too much detail because it could take a very long time. My first lucid dream that I've ever had was when I was about 15. Currently, I wasn't staying at home. I was a bit rebellious. Even though I was raised as a Christian, I had the fear of God in me, but I still kind of did what I wanted. And this dream was so real, so lucid, that after I woke up, I called my father and I asked, "Can I come home?" And basically, I dreamt that God returned. It was the rapture. I saw the signs happening, the blood moon, the skies turning, God appearing into the sky as he lowered down. I seen souls going up into the sky. And I knew the state that I was in, I wasn't going. And I dropped to my knees and I was begging for mercy, begging for God to take me. And he left. And it was over. And when I woke up, and it's weird because every single time I have wakened from these dreams, I don't wake in like a sweat or fear or like I'm drowsy, kind of like a scary dream. I wake up like I'm laying like flat on my back and just as easy as like I've never been even asleep. My eyes just open like as if I was only blinking. And after that, I went home. I decided to go home after that happened, that dream that day when I was 15. But the dreams didn't stop. They weren't like back to back, but they continued most of my life. And maybe a couple years might go by where I think maybe it was just one dream, maybe it was just two dreams, but they just kept happening. So, I've dreamt multiple times the rapture happened. Only the first time I was left. The second time I was taken. I believe the third time I was taken. But then my dreams started getting a little more weird and bizarre. I started dreaming more like I knew God was coming back in my dreams, but they were becoming more like end time dreams, like chaos and war. And it started to dawn on me that maybe God's not going to save us in the rapture before all this bad stuff happens. Maybe even Christians are going to feel, what it's like, that we're going to know that it's end times and that Jesus is coming, because it's just going to be so bad. I started dreaming about weird things happening in the skies. Alien invasions, people looting, us trying to loot, trying to grab water, supplies, things out of the store in a frenzy, in a panic. I had one dream we were hiding in the mountainside because it was the only safe place to be. I had one dream that it was basically turning into a war zone, and God came back. And once again, I prayed, "Please forgive me, please take me. I don't want to be left. I know better, And he did. And I was in heaven, and it was the best place ever. I was so happy. But then God came to me and he said, "I want to show you." And he allowed me to see how the earth looked after all of this chaos had finished. And it looked like a war zone. There was nobody left. Everyone was gone. It was a dead zone. Everything was scorched. Things were still on fire. And I knew right then and there that whoever didn't make it up to heaven with me, they were all dead. There was nobody left. The earth was done. I started dreaming about alien invasions, things coming out of the sky. I had one dream where I was going to a mall, and I parked my car like normal and walked into the mall. I was shopping, looking at clothes, and all of a sudden I saw people running and screaming and acting chaotic. So of course I leave and I'm going to my car because I don't know what's going on. And I look up in the sky and I see things coming out of the sky. And now I'm panicking. So I run for my car and my car won't start. And in my dream I knew that it wasn't starting because it just didn't want to start. None of the cars were working. They killed any kind of electronic, any kind of engine, any kind of motor. Kind of like that one movie. But I was so terrified. Once again, I started praying to God. But this time, it was different. I was praying to wake up. I said to God, I was like, I know this is another one of the signs you're trying to tell me. Please, I don't want to see anymore. Please, I just want to wake up. I just want to wake up. And that's all I could say. I just want to wake up. And I put my head on the steering wheel like so I couldn't see anything, and I had my eyes closed, and I woke up. And I mean, that right there was like really, it wasn't scary as far as like I woke up terrified, but just thinking that, usually you don't really dream about waking up. You don't say in your dream you want to wake up. So that was a pretty intense dream that I had. I remember one time I had a dream that I was in like a schoolyard field, and I was kind of fooling around, like having fun, like just running around and being innocent. And I was with my sisters, and I was like stepping backwards, like backing up from something, and I tripped. And when I fell down, and when I looked, it was like a black bird on the ground. It was a dead black bird on the ground that I tripped over. And it scared me. And I was like, oh my gosh, ew, I just thought it was one. But then when I started looking around the schoolyard, I started realizing there was all kinds of dead birds. Like, things were just dying all over. And they were dropping out of the sky. And so we started panicking. And we ran for basically shelter to hide. And we locked ourselves into this small shed type thing that was around in the schoolyard. And we were trying to, we were just terrified. Basically, we didn't know what was going on in my dream. And then I could see these evil spirits floating around, and they were like going into people and possessing them. And we started panicking, so we started trying to kind of seal up the little shed that we were in with whatever we could find, dirty cloths, whatever was in there. But a spirit actually got through a crack and went into my sister. And I woke up. And it was pretty terrifying, and I didn't know what to think of it, And a lot of these dreams, you kind of want to tell people about dreams you have, but a lot of people, when you say this wasn't just a dream, they don't believe you. They might just be like, yeah, you had a dream, And it's like, how do you describe how you feel? How you just know it's not just a dream, It's hard to say it was like a really vivid, really lucid dream, And they're like, yeah, I bet, So a lot of times I might share it with my mom, or my sister, but I usually kept them to myself. The last dream, which really I don't even feel like it was like it wasn't like a dream, like I saw things. It was just something I experienced when I was sleeping. The last thing I want to share is I was always told, the rapture will happen in a twinkle of an eye. You won't even see it coming. Not so much there won't be signs, but just like that, it's over. And so one night I was sleeping, and I heard the loudest boom noise. It sounded like one of those really loud, annoying firecrackers, but worse. Like, it shook the house. And I heard this and I felt it. It woke me up. It was so loud. And I was so terrified. And the first thing that flew into my mind was, this is what happens with the rapture. This is how quick it will be. If you're sleeping, you'll miss it if you don't have your heart right with God. And this is exactly I can't even explain it. Like, instantly, as soon as I heard it, that's what went into my mind. And I was so terrified that this was real and that I didn't make it because of all my previous dreams I've had. I went in and I checked on both my kids to make sure they were there. That's how real it was. I woke them up and kind of like, I kind of shouldn't have woke them up, but I woke them up and I was like, did you hear that? Did you hear it? Like, was it just me? What just happened? And they looked at me like I was crazy, But that was intense, and I still can't describe like why or who. I had a boyfriend at the time who lived with me, and he didn't hear anything. It was like it was all in my head. So I'm not gonna keep going on about the dreams that I've had, but the reason why I wanted to all of a sudden share these dreams that I've had kind of briefly, I want other people's opinions on like who else is dreaming this way, and maybe it doesn't mean something, like I always thought it was, just me, God telling me to get my life right. But as they got more bizarre and more bizarre, I started to question it. And I do a lot of studying about aliens, Anunnaki, and like I get into religion a bit, like the roots of it and everything, ancient history. And with with everything going on right now, with internet crashings, YouTube crashings, something hitting the moon and all this, bizarre stuff going on right now, it kind of laid on my heart to share these things because I came across a video and it was like, people are dreaming of Anunnakis returning, Nibiru coming back and the devastation that it's going to do. And all of a sudden it clicked to me. Maybe all these dreams that I've been having have been warnings of this very thing. Maybe I've been holding on to like real visions and warnings of what's going to happen, like premonitions, and I haven't said anything to anyone. So this is why I'm sharing them to you. And if you have any comments, positive feedback, or want to elaborate on things, let me know. But I kind of feel like maybe my dreams were for this. Maybe some of these things that are going to happen with, in a very short time, maybe that's what it was. Have you ever wondered if your dreams were a warning?